Hello everybody, it is me, Marina Martinez-Bateman. I am the CEO of New Coyote Consulting. We are an equity and communications consulting firm here in the Pacific Northwest. This is Socrates. He's just been very sleepy lately. He's been getting a lot of exercise outside of the office. So, he spends a lot of his time with me, snoozing. This is the Monday update. It's the first one of the year. We decided to switch back to Monday updates this year, just based on everything that's going on in our schedules and what we need. And I haven't posted yet just because we have been setting up. It's been kind of hectic. You'll probably hear something ding a couple of times during this video. It's just kind of been like that. I'm really happy to be so busy. It's what we want. Obviously, it's healthy for the business to be this busy. And I am gonna need to continue to work on keeping to my hours, delegating, and really focusing on the things that are productive for us. By the time y'all see this, I think that it will be different, but LA has been on fire for the last week or so. I've cried a lot of tears over it. That's my hometown, that's where I'm from. In fact, my hometown where I spent the first 13 years of my life is Altadena, and if you have been following the LA fires, you know that the city of Altadena is almost completely destroyed. And I haven't been talking much about it. I think I posted something on Instagram about it that I now am just like, I don't know if that's what I wanted to post. But as you can imagine, I'm having a lot of big feelings about, the place I spent so much of my life burning completely to the ground. And that fire is a result of climate change and mismanagement and ignoring indigenous wisdom. And, I was talking to my therapist about this last week, and I was talking about experiences that I had growing up in Altadena. A lot of people know that I grew up in a fairly rough environment, not necessarily that the city was rough, but that my family was really rough and there was a lot of violence. And when I was 13, I left because I had been kicked out of my house. And that was when I was on my own, and I just have a lot of feelings about all of that, and it's all coming together with this big tragedy. But one of the things I am thinking the most about is how, as an abuse survivor, it feels very clear to me that the land is also an abuse survivor. And we see that very clearly with the city of Altadena. It's not these hills, this land, these roads, these houses, these animals that live in this highly natural space. The city of Altadena was right up against the Angeles Crest forest, and that's burning too. And it's like this natural space has, had no say in the way it's been developed and overdeveloped. It has no say in the way it's been mismanaged with regard to fire safety. Last year, one of the things that LA did is that they cut the budget for the fire department so that they could pay for police. And, that says a lot to me about about where our priorities are in an official capacity, and about how different my priorities are, and my colleagues' priorities, and my friends and my family and the people that I'm around and work with every day, how massively out of step with these institutions we are. And that actually gives me hope that there are a lot of us who are shocked and upset at how this is happening, how these things are occurring, and that we know each other, and that we're organizing together and working together. And I just, in this honestly abusive culture, the culture of colonization, the culture of capitalism, the culture of increasing fascism, of authoritarianism, of xenophobia and homophobia and transphobia and racism and all of these isms and obias. It's a culture of abuse. And whether or not you were directly abused by someone, which a lot of us have been, but even if you personally haven't experienced an abusive relationship, it affects you. It affects all of us because we live in this culture of abuse, of manipulation, and of exploitation. And we have to recover. One of the things that I think is so important for resisting fascism right now is recovering from the abuse of fascism. It's so important that we honor ourselves and our autonomy, and that we care for our inner child, which has inevitably been harmed by childism, even if our adults were safe adults. It's so important to see that we are surrounded, steeped in exploitative practices, and we have to resist them. It's not about whether we have the resources or whether we think we should or whether we're in a good place to. Watching my hometown burn to the ground really taught me, really showed me in a visceral way that we do not have a choice as to when we will start fighting fascism. Or we do. We can start now, or we can start when it comes for us. We can start when the lack of management in the natural world, for the natural world, the lack of respect for the needs of nature, the lack of safety around fire systems, or natural disaster systems, or natural disaster response, or any of these things. We can start now, or we can start when this shit comes to our door and knocks down the door and takes the whole fucking house. We do not have a choice now as to what kind of times we are living in. Have a walk, have a lunch, have a weekend. Don't work for free. I will see you next week.